Hi everyone, I hope you're ready to join in the discussion. Um, going to be having a conversation with Shraddha today, and I'm just waiting for her to come on. Okay. Hi, I see a lot of you joining in. It's so nice to see so many of you live right now along with us. And that's where Shraddha is. Hi Shraddha, how are you?
Hi.
How are
Happy
you?
Yoga Day.
I wish you the same. Though it's yoga day every day, all day, but it's so nice to have a dedicated day, to be able to re-establish the significance of yoga.
Yeah, absolutely. And we have our class tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to that as
Yes,
always.
awesome.
Even though it's virtually, but it makes all the difference.
Absolutely. I think that's one interesting thing I wanted to share with everybody that, since we started yoga, which was I think last year, June, right? And we haven't even met once and we've only done yoga digitally online. And
Yeah,
it's still been such a wonderful experience, right?
yeah,
It's so nice to see how this has all panned out. Yoga has happened consistently and it's been a great experience online.
yeah, exactly. And I mean, we both started our yoga journeys with the same guru,
Yeah,
with your Ashtang journey and my Ashtang journey with Suvir Balvi, who is an amazing, amazing yoga teacher. And
absolutely.
it's so amazing that we share that common thing between us.
Yeah.
And that was many years back for me when I started doing yoga. And I remember telling you also that, I had started it and I was consistent for a while. And then I just stopped doing yoga. And then you came into my life last year. And my journey begins again with you.
It's so nice, actually. I mean, who would have thought, right, that it took a lockdown for even you to get back to yoga,
Yeah,
right? It took a pandemic for you to actually take it up on an digital platform,
yeah,
and it's been a great journey. It did not feel like there has been that big gap that hasn't been able to fill up. Being respectful of the pandemic and the lockdown, we have
yeah,
managed pretty well to keep it going, I think.
yeah. I think it's so important because I felt like I missed yoga in my life. I missed it. And the universe aligned and put us together. So, very happy about that. Yeah.
I'm also very happy about that. Okay, so I think we can move forward with the discussion. And before we go ahead, I just like to tell everybody that guys will be putting the comments off just so that
Yes.
we can have an uninterrupted flow and an uninterrupted discussion. We probably put it on later if time permits. So, but right now we'll keep it off. So I'll
Yes.
just find the setting as to
And
where.
want to say hi to everyone who's joined in. Thank you all for joining in. This is a very, very special discussion. And I'm really happy that all of you could be a part of it.
Okay, so going forward with this, I'm going to ask you the first thing, which is what are the changes that you have experienced so far, because of yoga? You could even keep in mind when you started yoga with Suvir sir, and even when you had a break, came back to it, just in general, what is it probably that even got yoga back to you? So what would you say is that at least that one thing that has changed for you because of yoga?
When I had done yoga with Suvir sir, that was the first time that I experienced doing yoga, and that was Ashtang yoga. And I was amazed at how a gentle practice of getting on the mat and moving your body very gently, yet in a challenging manner, can have an impact on your mind, body, soul. It has a very holistic impact. So my journey began over there. And of course, then what happened was I started shooting, and then I didn't get the time to do that. But always at the back of my mind, it was like, I need to get back to yoga. I need to get back to yoga. And since we've begun since last year, and it's amazing that even though we've been doing it digitally through a virtual medium, where with your calm instructions, your calm voice, your guiding the practice, it's made such a difference to me. Where, I mean, who doesn't have stress, anxiety in all forms? I think everyone has some kind of stress. Everyone has something they are worried about. And people are more and more aware of wanting to become healthy and have a practice which is, which can sustain. So since we begun again, I feel like my anxiety levels have improved so much. I feel a lot more strong in my body. I feel a lot more flexible. But I also want to say that I think a lot of people feel like, when they see on Instagram, they see yoga poses and slightly complex yoga poses. They feel it's cool to do those poses, and it's, that's why maybe they want to do yoga. But I want to say, no, that's not the reason to do yoga. And that yoga is a very gradual, it's a life changing practice where you feel great in your mind, in your soul, spiritually. You feel amazing in your body. And it's a slow practice, and of course with consistency, which is a very, very important thing, which we have also realized that strength builds with consistency, and all those really lovely life changes happen through consistency. So I definitely feel a huge difference. I feel a lot more calm, I feel strong, and I feel like I'm only depending. When we're doing our practice, of course I also work out, which is something that has been a part of my life also, and that is a different kind of taking care of your body with different kinds of exercises. So I actually also feel that yoga helps that journey of mine as well. And all in all, I just feel stronger, I feel more balanced, and it's just an amazing feeling.
Yeah. No, you highlighted that really well, that it doesn't have to be one or the other, and how you go to realize that actually yoga complements every aspect of your life, even if one is supposed to be doing any other forms of exercises, and in general how it starts to make way into the rest of your life. That's the kind of impact, it starts penetrating into the rest of your life. I
Yeah.
think that's
Yeah.
what you highlighted really well. Yeah. And also, like, just to say that today, we are in 2021. Okay, now just maybe a few years back you would have had a different image of yoga, and now you may see it differently. So is there like a stark difference in how you viewed yoga then versus how you see today? Because you have deepened your practice, you have been at it. So has there been this before after understanding of what yoga is for you?
Definitely, because even my first when I got into yoga, I was very excited. I started looking forward to doing all the complex asanas. I was like, now I'll be able to do a back bend, I'll be able to do a handstand, I'll be able to. So but when the journey started with yoga, I realized that it's not going to happen in one day. It's a process, and that consistency has to be given in the practice, and to show up on the mat, and just gently give yourself that time, that it will happen. And more than anything, just be very present in that moment, because at that moment during the practice, through connecting with the breath, moving the body, holding each pose, each asana in those counts, it's amazing. And you feel like you're being challenged also, but you also feel like, okay, this is going to be good for me. So that definitely, it took us so long to. My hamstrings were so tight also, and they still are, and we're still working on them. So, and so many other things. Balance, me and my balance, and how how to be able to keep my balance in a particular asana. So we're working on them, and it takes time. So definitely it is something to have patience with.
Yeah, no, I think what you said was very right in the middle of the conversation, where it's about showing up on the mat. It doesn't matter what you actually end up doing on the mat. It's just that, the daily or the regular showing up on the mat, it's the first step to get past anything. Then comes everything else and the reward, so to say. But it's the first step is showing up on the mat for yourself, to like
Yeah.
kind of make yourself feel I did it for myself. I slept late, maybe,
Exactly.
yes, whatever. It's just that push because we all get lazy. The procrastination does come, you know, it is an
Exactly.
understood thing. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And you know, it's and as you said, you just said the right thing. It's for yourself.
Yeah.
It's the practice is for yourself. It's not to try to do something to, look cool. It's a beautiful practice if it's integrated into your life.
Absolutely. No, you said it just the way it is, you know. So great. And moving on to something that you would say is you've learned on the mat. And when you are to face or when you have faced a real life situation of the mat in general, during your shoots, maybe, or any other situation, you know, where things get to you. But there was
Yeah.
something that you kind of had, like a small little tiny learning on the mat that came back to you, you know, even if it's just asana practice and it came back to you, you know, in that moment when you were dealing with something tough. Is there something that you would want to say?
There are so many things. I can make a list of the things that I feel like have come to mind during my practice on the mat, and but I have to say, Nishtha, when with your calm voice guiding our sessions, it's those few moments when the mind, it's the mind does wander, but I feel like when I'm practicing on the mat, I get I get a lot of positive thoughts, a lot of positive realizations, and you know, and then there's also a lot of gratitude that thank you for this body, thank you for this beautiful practice. So, I mean, I feel like once all of this is over and the lockdown is open and we start resuming classes, that the experience of even doing it in
Yeah,
person will be so amazing.
absolutely. Yeah, that's right. And I mean, even if I speak from my experience, like, you know, there are so many times when this things come up. It's like I used to, I say this very often and even write about in my post that, you know, when you're practicing on the mat, there are those, you know, those traces of your own inner, you know, characteristics that show up. Like, for example,
That's
if
good.
you're used to being a fearful person generally, and, you know, we're
Yeah,
always with extra caution. But when you're on the mat, that kind of shows up. But that showing up is also a way of kind of reminding you that, hey, this is what is within you that you would want to kind of overcome. You know, so the small little correlations that
yeah,
happen, you
that's
know,
so
from,
true.
yeah, right? The
Like,
off the mat, on the mat connection. Yeah.
yeah, and even like about my balance, right? Like, I'm so shaky sometimes, and then you just tell me, just focus on your breath and that particular point that you're telling us to focus on, and automatically what I feel like, oh no, I'm going to fall out of this asana, oh no, I'm going to fall. And it's even okay to fall. It's
Yeah.
absolutely okay to fall. But something as small and important as focusing on your breath can make you just feel
Yeah.
balanced. So it's too
Yeah,
good.
it's like the world can stop right here when your breath, you know, when you're with your breath. Like
Yeah.
everything can carry on, but
Yeah.
you're with your breath and everything feels right, you know. And
Yeah.
that's the essence, the absolute essence of, you know, being in a state of yoga. Not about look at me, I'm doing good, etc. You
Yeah.
know, it's that your connection has happened right there, which is
Yeah.
so beautiful.
Yeah, totally. And breath is so important, right? Like, you constantly tell me that, I need to be breathing from my nose. And breath is something I think a lot of people don't realize how important something that is within us, something that we unconsciously do. We don't even think
Hmm.
about breath. It's
Yeah.
such an important thing. It's our life-giving force. It is, even just with breathing techniques, we're able to handle our anxieties, become calm, and the different various breathing techniques that even we've done so many of it. That's made a big difference to me. So yeah, a lot out there to share with people.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. And it's so nice that the way you've put it out because it kind of gives a, you know, that personal picture of your, you know, of your life and your experience to other people as well. Because it's not just a display of complex asanas like, you know, you mentioned. It's the inner experiences that matter more than anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, like, you know, continuing with the same thing, uh, we have the very obvious physical changes that take place because of yoga, right? The flexibility comes in, the strength comes in, which is great and it's necessary, right? Because it builds that sturdiness in the body, it builds the
Yeah.
strength in the body. But other than that, what would be some of the emotional and mental changes that you would say that you have started to say or recently experience, the very prominent changes, say for some example that you would given a situation react in a certain way, but now because there is yoga that you have started to take the guidance of, is now that same situation you probably react differently, or even your mental state, like what are the changes?
Definitely. I feel like since we've been doing yoga together, it's made such a big difference to, you know, we're all human. We all have, sometimes we get angry, we snap, and we say something. We may say it to our loved ones, a family member, and, then we feel bad. And then we're like, sorry, I said that because I was angry and I didn't think. I feel like since we started practicing, I feel a lot more like even at home, my dad also tells me, he's like, you don't get angry, and you rarely get angry, and it's so amazing that he's noticed also that, and I feel like what our practice has definitely contributed to that. I feel more calm. I feel like, more connected to the simple things. And, we've all been through such difficult times now with the pandemic, with the lockdown, and it's helped me so much through this time, I urge everybody to start practicing yoga, because it's really, really, along with the body, as I said, your mind, and you just feel very connected with yourself. You feel calm, you feel centered. So I definitely feel like I feel a lot more calm. And I mean, I am a calm person, but imagine feeling even more calm, so
Yeah, it comes to you
yeah.
easy for sure. Yeah. Yeah. In fact, what you said is so true, because sometimes it's like when we get on the mat, there's a lot of unresolved emotions, thoughts that haven't been dealt with, and it's like saying, when you hear someone saying that, oh, I have pains in my body, but I don't know where they originate from. Like, I went to the doctor said you have nothing, you're absolutely fine, but you still
Yeah.
may have that constant chronic pain that just refuses to go. And they often tend to be psychosomatic pains, right? They come
Yes.
because certain emotions haven't been dealt with, or whether a person's usually constantly afraid, or holding
I
anger, or
I
having
used to have them.
responsibility.
Yeah.
You used to have them.
Yes.
Which part of your body would be like the
So
affected part?
uh, it used to mainly be my leg, and sometimes it still happens, but it's become so much better now, So yeah,
Hmm.
absolutely, it
Yeah.
makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and it's like, even when we just take the help of asana practice to begin with, the body starts to release, the stagnant, held up, blocked energies in the body, which are nothing but your emotions, which you never dealt with, because
Yeah.
where will the emotions find an outlet? When they don't find an outlet, they get stored in the body, and it starts to show up in the form of aches, pains, etc. And that can then it starts to go in a very a self belittling kind of a conversation, that I'm always like lethargic, slow, dull, etc. But
Yeah.
I think when the body learns to move and the releases start to happen, like so often when we're in class, and even you have experienced, like we go for a deep hip opening, for example, and there's those ooh and ah moments, which are just like, but that those moments are the special ones, right? Because that
Yeah.
helps the release. Yeah,
Yeah,
and that release is
totally.
actually happening from here, it's
Yeah.
not just the muscular release in the body.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
And also another thing, like I think you've already probably more or less answered this, but how would you say yoga has enhanced your relationship with your own self? One is of course with other people. You said, like you said, you have become a less temperamental person, but just with yourself, how do you hold that special relationship with yourself?
I feel like, I feel like through yoga, there's been too many amazing things that have happened with me. I feel like, uh, I feel very proud that first of all yoga is, you know, such a big part of Indian culture, and we're so blessed to have you know, yoga practitioners in our country, and it's very accessible now, and it's getting more accessible, where people can literally watch videos and do yoga at home. And the way that it's impacted me is I feel like it's made me love my body more, love my mind more. Uh, it's so beautiful to just get on a mat, and it's just you, your moments with yourself, your mat. We use some lovely props that aid in our asans, and I feel like it definitely helps with has helped me with my stress, my anxiety, with respecting my body. It makes me want to eat healthy, much more healthy foods, and I just feel like it has filled me up with a lot more self-love, which I think is important for everybody to have.
No, that was such a
Yeah,
well put answer. Thanks for sharing. And I think, coming from your experience, it's going to help so many people understand, what it is to go through a journey. Or when you're, practicing yoga, it doesn't have to immediately show up and, feel
yeah,
amazing. But it's the
yeah,
constant effort, taking the time, removing the time for yourself, showing up again for yourself, that one can start to eventually experience all these things that
yeah.
share about yourself.
Totally. And I also want to ask you something which I think you know, will be great for people to hear from you. Is that, do you what are the misconceptions about yoga? What is it really? What isn't it? You know, that you can clarify for everybody.
I mean, that way there are quite a few misconceptions about yoga, and I think just yoga teachers, practitioners in general, keep hearing a lot of these things. But some may be like, some may look at yoga just as a postural practice, just postural movement, which is great because it starts with that. But it also needs to be understood that it doesn't stop with that. You
Yeah.
know, yoga asanas is one part of a larger spectrum, a very, very vast spectrum, and it's going to be a lifelong journey. It's never that one can say, I have mastered yoga, because I mean, I don't think I have really met anyone who would claim that. But
Right.
it is a lifelong journey, and what better than being a student for life? You constantly are learning, evolving, growing. I mean, it can even take lifetimes. It's not even that you're like a person is to be the epitome. So it is a lifelong journey, and it doesn't stop. It definitely doesn't stop at yoga asanas, because that is just, if one is to limit themselves only to postural movements, only to wanting to do cool insta worthy yoga poses, then I mean, for a lack of better word, it just becomes contortion or acrobatics, because a person is constantly thinking of wanting to bend, wanting to twist, and limited to that, rather
Yeah.
than trying to understand what is the deeper exploration that's happening with it. Very often people say, but do you think I can do yoga because I'm not flexible? I can't even touch my toes. And I said, don't you think that's reason enough to do yoga? Why would you want
Yeah.
anything else, as a
Yeah.
reason? Because why do you need to know something beforehand to do it? That's the reason you learn. And flexibility is
Exactly.
such a small part of it. It's a
Yeah.
byproduct.
Yeah, yeah, totally. And I mean, I was, and I still am so not flexible in so many ways. So,
But that doesn't stop you from doing yoga, right?
sorry?
That doesn't stop you from doing yoga, right?
Exactly,
Absolutely.
exactly. If at all, it makes it better every day. You know, it makes it better every day. Well said. And what about what about yoga and meditation? You know, can you let us know about are yoga and meditation two separate things?
uh yeah, like, so again, this is also very often asked, or portrayed that, hey, I do yoga and I do meditation. Well, when people say yoga, they actually again mean only postural practice. Today yoga has become very synonymous with asana practice and postural
Yeah,
practice. But again, like, referring to the earlier question as well, uh, there are, like, if you even look at just the study of ashtang yoga, which are the 8 limbs of yoga, and there
yeah,
are 8 progressive steps that lead to the state of yoga. So it goes as yama, niyama, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. So when we talk about asan, which is the third limb, and when we talk about meditation, which is dhyana, which is the seventh limb, they're both basically two limbs that are leading towards yoga. So
Okay.
you're right, it's a little misleading to say it's yoga and meditation, when a person would
Okay.
actually mean it's asana and meditation, just like the other steps responsible for us to approach the journey of yoga. So it's like a gradual progression. And the reason asana comes at the third step is because also actually very, very interesting is that many people don't know this. Um, if you say yoga, when it was found, the text of yoga, they're dated 5,000 years ago, or some even debate it's older than that. But in those texts, there was no real mention of asanas actually. The only asana that was mentioned was the seat that we take, or meditative posture. That was the only asana that was mentioned. All the asana practices that we do came about later, much later, after 11th 12th century, and when the yogi scholars at that time realized that it was the need of the hour, because the human race was starting to become a lot more weaker in the mind. So we were being controlled by the mind, and earlier, before that, we were probably expected to be a lot more stronger in the mental space. And as we started to become weaker here, um, the asana practice was required, so the body learns to move. We start to get out of our head and into the body, and it's through the body that the journey happens inward. So the spiritual journey happens through the body. Again, very often people also say that, you're not your body. There's always like this either or discussion. Of course, no,
Yeah.
you're not your body, whether soul, whether this, etc. But
Yeah.
the journey starts from the body. It is the body that has to be acknowledged, because till we don't have the connection with our body, till we don't have that, the awareness of how this mechanism, this body functions, there is no way inside. And we
Yeah.
continue to then stay in an outward exploration of the world, whereas the exploration, or the when you speak about spiritual journey, it's all about moving inward. So it's only first through the step of asanas that we learn to connect to our body. As a result, we start moving in, and then the following limbs, so to say, start to fall in place. It's only with the body, through the movement, can one learn to be still. So the idea is to move, not stop there, so that you can move towards the path of stilling yourself, reaching a point of effortlessness. And it's only in the stillness can one then begin to experience the state of yoga.
So well said. And I have to tell everybody who's also tuned in that, guys, I've been sharing also some of the pictures of our practice together as well. And, I really wanted to share our journey together, because it's making such a big difference in my life, that I hope that, if people are interested in doing yoga, they know that, it's anybody can do yoga. It's just an intention that if you want to do yoga, step on the mat, and you can find a teacher, you can find videos, and you can just start your practice, and it really makes a difference. And I would tell everybody else also that, I'll keep sharing my yoga journey with you. And yeah, here's hoping that people can get themselves on the mat.
Yes, I think that's a wonderful message for, International Day of Yoga, that it is not just, you have to be able to do yoga for a certain reason. It's absolutely accessible to everybody. If you have a body and if you breathe, you can do yoga. That's as
Yeah.
simple as that. You
Yeah.
just want to reach out to the right sources, not just blindly following things from the internet. Find a good teacher and guide. So I think, yeah, it's for everybody. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Awesome. So I think we can head towards doing a short pranayam practice, and then we can move into an ending mantra. So I think everybody watching can also join us, guys. All those who are watching, yeah, please join us. It's going to be really simple, and you can just do it along with the both of us. And whether you're seated on a chair, on your bed, wherever it is, it doesn't matter. Just have your spine lifted upright. And if you want, you could just roll your shoulders to correct and lift your posture. And then you can check on the head, neck, trunk alignment, allowing yourself to be nicely lifted. And whenever you feel you're ready to close your eyes, slowly start to close your eyes. Just take a few easy moments here. Start by relaxing your body, relaxing the shoulders, the neck. Soften up your facial muscles. Relax the mouth, the jaws. Create a sense of ease on the facial muscles. And allow the same ease, relaxed feeling to spread down towards the rest of your body. Start to notice how the body is beginning to rest, beginning to get easy and calm. And as a result of a relaxed body, the mind starts feeling slowed down, a little quieter. Just taking note of your natural flow of breath. Staying with a natural inhale and natural exhale. And we'll move towards the Brahmari pranayam or the humming bee breaths. It's a very, very simple pranayam. We're just to inhale through the nose, and when you exhale, you release a humming sound, keeping your mouth closed. So for which we're going to take the thumbs to lightly close the opening of the ears. And then you can take the remaining 4 fingers to cover your eyes. We go for 5 rounds together. Let's take a long inhale through the nose. And very slowly release the palms. Begin to rub the palms, cupping it to your eyes and all over your face. Just take a moment to feel the after effect of the pranayam, feeling the buzzing sensations all over the body, the mind. Okay. And we'll end with a Shanti mantra, which is Sarve Bhavantu. So you guys can join us as we chant along. We'll go for 3 rounds of the chant and finish it with Om and Shanti after which. So let's take the palms, joining in Anjali Mudra in front of the heart. And inhaling. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramaya Sarve Bhadrani Paschantu Ma Kaschit Dukha Bhave सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Thank you so much. Thank you. That was so wonderful,
So
Shraddha.
much, Nishtha.
Thank you so much. It was so lovely chatting with you this evening. And I think it was also great, great moment, a great highlight of International Day of Yoga. So many people get to hear a message from you, and I think it's just going to have great reverberations of this conversation.
It was amazing to share this with everyone, and I hope that people are more interested in yoga, and wish everyone happy International Yoga Day. Thank you everyone, and for joining us, everybody, and have an amazing day. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you tomorrow, Nishtha.
I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great evening ahead. I have another class to take right now, so I'm going to head for that.
Okay, amazing.
Yes.
See you tomorrow.
Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining. Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.